Hey YouTube, I gotta go to work in a second, but I wanted to make a quick response to you James's last video. Um, and it's a little off topic too, but it's sort of about white guilt. Uh, I never really understood white guilt. Um, and I couldn't. I'm not white, just as they can't understand what it's like to be black or Hispanic. They can empathize, but they can't really know what it's like. I never understood it because it's like, well, you're not really the people who actually did the oppression. You're not racist, so don't worry about it, basically. Um, but I think again, I can't say I understand it because I'm not white, but I think I'm understanding it more and more. The more I learn about America's actual history and the damage that we're doing to the world, um, the more I have an intense feeling to distance myself from, uh, from America. If you remember a while ago, I wanted to get out of this country. Um, you know how they say, don't be part of the problem, be part of the solution? Uh, I felt that this country was going to fall and there really wasn't going to be much of a distinction between those who were part of the problem and those who were part of the solution. uh, we would all go down together as the problem. You know what I mean? Uh, so, yeah, I think I'm coming to understand white guilt because I feel a sort of American guilt whenever I'm having an argument with someone who isn't American. Uh, Once they start bringing up things America has done, I'm not going to say that that ends the conversation, but I can't really argue. All I could say is something that sounds almost racist, like I'm one of the good ones. Believe me, I'm surrounded by rednecks. I live in Concord, North Carolina. I literally live like 15 minutes, 5 minutes if I drive fast, from the NASCAR stadium. No offense to NASCAR fans or to all North Carolinians, whatever. Um, even Rye Maiden 1 lives here, and she's not a redneck. She's cool. Uh, but, yeah, I understand how you feel when you look at America. I'm literally steeped in this shit. The second thing was China. The thought that China. See, this is where the American guilt plays in, too, because I feel like I can't say anything bad about China. But the thought of China becoming the world power scares the living shit out of me. Um, eh, you could say it's propaganda, but I don't think so. I mean, yeah, America's bad, but at least sometimes hypocrisy is a good thing. It's better than just open evil. Am I saying the Chinese people are openly evil? No, of course not. But the government, basically what they've done, this is what you James might have been referring to when he said they have an advantage over every other nation. Basically what they're doing is they're taking the good parts of capitalism. Uh, you know what I mean. If you look at their economy, what they're doing now, they're shifting to sort of a capitalist system in terms of allowing more businesses to do what they want. Yet at the same time, they're keeping the evil, like sort of fascist dictatorship. Uh, so they have the power of a capitalist, but and to those who say, well, America is was always a fascist. No, no, there's a difference between you know, ignoring the Constitution sometimes and lining up people, because they argued against the government and executing them. Like China executes like more people than like any other country, any other like large country. I think they said like they execute like 80 people a day or some shit. It could be even more than that. Just like hundreds of people, lined up and shot. I'm not saying like there's a Holocaust going on. I'm just saying they execute the hell out of everyone that does a crime. But anyway, also, whereas in America, most people are against racism, in China, or at least according to what I've heard, um, there's a particular race or a bloodline or race of Chinese people that are officially thought of as superior to all other races. This isn't like a small supremacist group. This is part of the government's ideology that they're better than the other races. Um, Again, if Japan was the rising power, you know, or if Britain was the new rising power, or uh, New Zealand, or Finland, or Denmark, or Sweden, or Switzerland, that would be one thing. Um, but the idea of China replacing the United States, I mean, even Russia would be better than China at this point. Um, Only because things can get better in Russia. There's a potential for that. It seems like there's a higher chance of that occurring, only because in in the West, we have the idea of the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and I think Russia has that idea too. Yeah, they're not technically the West. Um, they're Eurasia. They're People say they're in Asia, but sort of in the middle. They're not East Asia. Whereas in the East, um, it's the nail that sticks out gets hammered down. Now, am I saying that that means that the Chinese people aren't going to fight back? No, I've seen a lot of protests in China, and protests in China, that shit's brave. These people could get killed. Uh, in fact, they do a lot of times. They're, you know, executed for, let's just say, stuff is found on them. Things that they did that are against the law. Supposedly. So, uh, even if they're not just straight up executed, they get jail time. They can get like 5 years in jail because they found something on them. Basically, I have the Chinese people have all my support, but the government. It seems more likely that things would get better if even a country like Russia, which has its problems too, one of those problems being quite like America. It's almost like a cartoon version of itself. You see a video of China. If you've seen the videos on YouTube, you know what I'm talking about. It's just like, oh, like drunk people in the streets, and the buildings are dilapidated and shit. It's like, what? It's like it's a cartoon. It's a caricature of itself. You know what I mean? America's become that too. It's like they took our jobs. Anyway, I need to go to work. But is anyone feel the way I do, that I feel nervous about saying anything against China because of the stuff America has done, but I still feel very strongly that if China replaced America as the word world power, everyone is seriously and inexorably fucked, like for the next 100 years. This is gonna be bad. Okay, until my next video, try to make the world a better place, and I will too.